Hello everybody, this is Alfredo from Blind Secrets again, where I remind you that if a totally blind person can feel like the happiest person in the world, you can too. Have you ever woke up sad or depressed or thought that that day was going to be one of the worst days of your life? Or have you ever thought that your problem is the worst problem that anybody in the world can have? I'm going to give you some tips that's going to decrease the probability that you're going to have these types of events in your life. Like always, I'm going to start with a personal story. Then I'm going to tell you the tip. I'm going to tell you why you should use the tip, how you could use the tip, where you could use the tip, and when you could use the tip. When I became blind in 2008, I needed to learn how to live as a blind person. So I enrolled in the San Diego Center for the Blind. In the center, there were a lot of students from different ages, and they have different types of eye diseases. For example, some had macular degeneration, and others had glaucoma, and some others have complications due to diabetes. I remember that during lunchtime, everybody would complain about their eyesight. They would say, "Oh, I can't see that like I used to before," or "I can only see it if there's a lot of light." And I used to always think, why are they complaining? I'm the totally blind person here. I would not say that out loud, but I would never complain about my eyesight to them. I would always complain about my eyesight to myself. I always thought that being totally blind was one of the worst things that could happen to anybody. So one day I was in one of the classes called groupthink. Basically, groupthink was a class where all the students got to talk about their eyesight and how it affected their lives. So one day as I was sitting there, one of the students said that they didn't know if they were going to have a roof over their head the next day. And that's when it hit me. I was like, oh my God, I have been making my problem the worst problem in the world. Being totally blind is not the worst problem that anybody could have. The person next to me didn't know if she was going to live in a house or live in the street the next day. I was like, I have been making my problem the worst problem in the world, but it was because I was making it the worst problem. It was me. I was making it the worst problem. It wasn't somebody else making it the worst problem. It was me. And it happens. We all tend to make our problems the worst problems in the world. So what is the tip? The tip is that we have to remind ourselves why we should be happy. Why we should be happy with our life. Why we should be happy with what we have, and why we should be happy with what we do not have. I'm going to give you 3 ways that you could be happy. The first one is, remember that your problem is most likely not the worst problem in the world. For example, I'm totally blind, but like I said in my story, it was worse not to know if you were going to have a house or live in the streets the next day. We all know that there are places around the world where there's a lot of wars, that people are killing themselves all the time. That's worse than most problems we all have. Another thing that can help it is that there are people that have family members that have cancer, that they're about to die. And because of this coronavirus, there are people that are dying because they got infected. We should not necessarily feel happier that we do not have the worst problem in the world. We should just understand that our problem is not the worst problem in the world, and it's not the end of the world. Another tip that I recommend is to write down why they are thankful. For example, sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I write down, I'm thankful that I'm alive. Because even though I'm totally blind, it is way better to be totally blind and alive than be dead. I am also thankful that I have a beautiful wife, 2 healthy sons, that I still have my grandma, my grandpa, and my mom. I'm also grateful that I have a job, that I have a house. There are many things that we could be thankful for, and this is going to remind us why we should be happy. The last tip that I recommend people do is to listen to motivational videos. For example, on YouTube, just type motivational videos, or type motivational videos Will Smith, or type motivational videos, insert your favorite actor or comedian here. Basically, what motivational videos do, they pump us up. They make us feel that there's nothing that can stop us. They make us feel like Superman. By listening to motivational videos, we're going to be happier. Instead of thinking all those negative thoughts that we thought about before when we were sad or depressed or had all these problems, we're going to start thinking about how we can solve the problem or why we should be happy. Some of you might be asking yourself, why should I do this? How is this going to help? Does it really help? First, it actually does help. Second, we should do it because feelings are contagious. For example, when you see a baby crying, when you hear a baby crying, and there's another baby nearby, most likely that baby is going to start crying. Or for example, when I have a problem at work and I get angry at work and I come to my house, sometimes I'll be angry at my wife and then my son because of the problems that I had at work because I brought the anger to work. So basically, if we start off the day by writing why we are thankful or by reminding ourselves why we should be happy and having a positive mindset, we're going to be happy. And this, in turn, will make other people around us happy because they're going to feel the presence of our happiness and they're going to be happier because feelings are contagious. Others might be asking yourself, when can I use this tip? When should I use this tip? I would suggest that you use it, for example, before an interview, so you get pumped up for the interview, because if you go into the interview thinking in a positive mindset, most likely the outcome is going to be positive. But if you go into the interview thinking, oh, I'm not going to get the job, most likely you're not going to get the job because you already set yourself for failure. Another place where you could use it is before a speech. Like for example, when I do my YouTube videos, I always listen to motivational videos because that gets me pumped up. That makes me feel like Superman. That makes me feel like nothing can stop me. And although I'm really nervous and scared in front of the camera, I do it because I listen to a bunch of motivational videos that they just make me feel that I could do anything that I put my mindset to. Another time when you would like to use this tip is when you're going to have a serious conversation with your spouse or a family member. That way you're going to go into the conversation with a happy mindset, and most likely the outcome is going to be positive. However, I would really advise everybody to use this tip every day, first thing in the morning. Because if you use it in the morning, you're going to have a positive mindset, you're going to be happy in the morning, and that's going to transpire throughout the day. So you're going to start happy, and most likely you're going to end happy. And throughout the day, you're going to be touching everybody with your positiveness and happiness, and they in turn are going to be happier and positive towards you. Now that you know how to have a more positive mindset and be happier in the start of your day, tell me in the comments how you're going to use this information to be less sad and less depressed and more happy and have a happier mindset throughout the day. If you like this video, please like it, because the more likes it gets, the more people that are referred to the video and the more people can learn from it. If you like the content, please subscribe so that every time I upload a video each week, you get it automatically and you don't have to wait for it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.